So we're in the middle of winter, middle of the flu season, and we're seeing a lot more people getting infected with influenza, RSV, and other viruses as compared to 2 years ago. Why is that? So today we're going to be exploring why we're seeing more people getting infected and why the people who are infected are having a more serious infection. Hello everybody, this is Dr. Jaspreet Singh and welcome to today's video. So over the last 2 years, unless you were under a rock somewhere, we were going through a pandemic. And during the pandemic years of 2020 and 2021, we were under a lot of restrictions, masking, washing your hands thoroughly, which I hope you normally would wash your hands even if we were not in a pandemic. So these restrictions also help decrease the spread of other viruses like RSV and influenza. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. We can decrease the spread of these viruses too? It's possible, but normally we don't do masking every winter season for these viruses only. Now, all of these other viruses, influenza, RSV, rhinovirus, they're winter viruses. They come on during the winter months, or we call it the flu season. Now, if a normal, healthy adult gets infected with these viruses, they get sick for a little bit, no big deal. But if somebody who's young, a child, or elderly, or somebody who's immunocompromised gets infected, they can be in serious trouble with these viruses. Now, hospitalizations from the flu itself is as high as it has been since 2010. I know. So why are these viruses back and why are they back with the vengeance? We're going to explore more of that right now. Now, one of the theories is that we normally get exposed to these viruses every year, every winter season, and our immune system builds antibodies or immunity against these viruses. Because we haven't been exposed to much of these viruses over the last 2 years, we are now considered immunologically naive to these viruses. All right, in simpler terms, all that means is every year we will get exposed to these viruses, whether we got really sick from them or whether we got exposed to them, we got maybe not sick at all, no symptoms, or we had some mild symptoms only and we recovered quickly thereafter. But what that does is it makes antibodies against these viruses. So next time we get infected with a virus just like that or something similar, our immune system recognizes it and it attacks the virus at a much faster rate than it normally would if it's something new or foreign to the immune system. The viruses we're seeing this year in the winter, we haven't seen in 2 years. So our immune system has not seen these viruses, doesn't have the antibodies against them. Our immunity from before 2020 fades. And the reason it fades is because these viruses evolve. They genetically mutate at a really fast rate and they keep changing. And that's why we need a flu vaccine every year because they're always changing. And because of that, because our immune system is naive to them, when we get infected, the immune system has to start the process over, making new antibodies, and that takes time. That leads to somebody getting much more sicker faster, as opposed to somebody who already had antibodies and can fight the virus at a much faster rate. So this is leading to more people getting sick because our immune system just doesn't recognize the virus and doesn't act fast enough. And when we do get infected, we get sicker than we normally would be because it's taking time for the immune system to make the antibodies and fight the viruses. So the moral of the story really is, guys, we can blame COVID for all of this. It's always COVID's fault if you think about it. So depending on how many people get infected this year from these viruses, we may have a normal flu season next year because our immune system will have already seen these viruses and made some kind of antibodies against them. But only time will tell. So there you have it, guys. That's why we're seeing these viruses causing higher rates of infection. And not only that, they're causing people to be more sick than they normally would be from these viruses. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.